This is not a war against screens. This is actually a world where video content, which comes from all sorts of sources, including ourselves and from users from every other place, sits across any screen, any time, to Clive's point. You know, there's so much debate, and you pick up a lot of press overnight from the US and from all over the world where people are predicting that great thing called the death of television. Well, I think that there's a whole lot of false statements that fly around the market around what that actually means. And I think that if you take the view that linear television in its current form, with no other distribution channel outside of your linear platform, was going to be successful forever, you'd have to say, no, it's not. But what you can say is that through every other distribution point, whether it be mobile or tablet or online, what we're actually providing consumers through technology is a far more engaging and enjoyable experience around that thing called TV. In fact, our biggest legacy is probably our name, TV. Right? Because it gets branded with this thing that's just this linear, single, non-interactive thing on the wall. If the government come around to allowing 75% reach rule to disappear, that will then immediately pave the way for us to be able to live stream content. Then we've just got to make sure that we've got the rights to be able to do that through all of our supply chains, and we can get ourselves to a point where a fully streamable environment for our free-to-air or subscription world, where anything you can see on your main screen at home, you can see on any device any time, gets us into a whole new place, because what it does mean is more video going to more people at their leisure, at their time, which also reinvents the advertising model and gets us to a point where, through our own methods in free-to-air versus, again, the benefits that subscription have with a connected home, our relationship with our consumers gets us to a point of an addressable, programmatic, multi-screen, video-based entertainment business.
The funny thing about all of this conversation is often the consumer gets completely left out of it. You know, this morning everyone's been talking disruption. The only industries that get disrupted are industries where there's a better way of doing something. So if you think about the taxi industry with Uber, calling up a taxi and not knowing when it was going to arrive, it was a pretty crappy experience, and then Uber came along and improved it, and therefore that category got disrupted. The experience for a consumer right now, traditionally in television, has not actually been that good an experience, because you're asked to fit in with the TV network's timing for what you want to watch. And Park Live Sport, obviously that's a bit of an exception. That is not as good an experience as being able to do it on your own terms when you choose. So the category will be disrupted because the consumer wants a better way to experience television. To Pete's point, it's not a war, but it is all about the consumer experience. The concept of a TV network telling me at 7:30 I have to watch a certain show at a certain time that needs to build around their choosing and their timing versus my own timing, I think that as a concept is a really old and dying concept.
I don't think it's dying, I think it's dead. I think television has to reinvent two things. One, it's got to understand that people will time shift and will watch television, which I think we just need to Peter's point, redefine what TV is. To audiences, I think TV is just video content. So we've got to stop thinking about TV, because as soon as you say TV, you think about the television often, which is, you know, and linear broadcasting and that sort of thing. So I think that it is up for sort of redefinition, and even if it's just a redefinition in your own strategic mind internally at the networks, it's really important to think about it from an audience first point of view, what they're doing, what they want, how are you packaging it up, what is the advertising experience, because, you know, frankly, when we talk about a catch-up scenario where you're watching it on your phone, which is your most intimate device, as Clive said, and we're jamming, you know, 4 or 5 ads in, because that's what we do. We've taken a linear broadcast model and shoved it onto catch-up. So we are reimagining all of this stuff. Overlay that with the background of rights and, you know, who owns what, and a set of economics around a business that fundamentally are incredibly difficult from a network's point of view. The cost of content is going up. There's downward pressure on advertising. Like, it's broken. The model is somewhat impossible for the medium to long term.
Linear TV, unquestionably, it's kind of challenged, but with that is an enormous opportunity. You've only got to look at the UK and the US, and linear TV is growing at 4 or 5% because what they're starting to do, to one of Pete's point, is they're promoting the benefits of television in a wholesome way first and foremost. And secondly, Rebecca, from your kind of past, they're starting to apply digital capability to linear TV through addressability, and that's kind of almost resetting the proof that television works. And I think that's the benefit. So I think, yeah, it's challenged, but there's a massive opportunity. The US upfronts and CBS and many of those companies came out with a great line, which is, we're kind of renowned and we've pushed ourselves to be big, mass-reaching, deliver on audiences fast. But right now we can also be small as well.
There is an element of war between the screens and how content is distributed. I think we're all quite surprised by the inertia that we're seeing in markets that are a couple of years ahead, like the US. There is still no other medium that is as effective as filling the top of the funnel for consideration as television, as audio-visual messaging, and then you can get into the sifting and the conversion.
Yes, we have the visual. We're very happy with that. This is a screen-based deal. Where's it gone? Give it back.
There is an appetite to change the model quickly. However, it is that conundrum of, you know, if your network's writing $1 billion and that's predicated on 15 minutes an hour.
I mean, I don't think it's either or one's going to kill the other at all. I think it's more about what Matt said. It's about the relevance and the convenience for the consumer. I mean, when you go, there's another screen cinema, they're not up on stage, but when you go observe or go to cinema, you consume very different content to television or on your mobile phone. I mean, I think, you know, when the portable radio came in and went to the bedroom, it didn't kill off music, but it spawned a new genre, rock and roll. Rock and roll exploded.
In the bedroom, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Excellent.
And I think that the thing is, we have to think of how the consumers are using the screen.
And so I do challenge this notion that this linear experience is not what consumers wanted. They will add their screen time by sort of leaning forward and leaning back.